Hello everyone, welcome to the video on converting standard form to slope-intercept form. So we've done some work with slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b, where that number in front of x always turns out to be the slope of the line, and that number by itself always turns out to be the y-intercept. Now, standard form is ax plus by equals c. We're going to work some examples down here, but some more examples. You could have 2x plus 3y equals 6. You could have negative 5x plus 7y equals 10. 9x minus 8y equals 48. Where a is the number in front of the x, b is the number in front of the y variable, and c is the constant on the right side by itself. So we're going to be looking at ones in this form, and we're going to be putting it into slope-intercept form. I don't know if you guys remember or not, but a few weeks ago, we did a topic called solving literal equations, or if you want to, just literal equations. And what we did is we took equations that had more than one variable, and we solved it for one of them. And we had to get used to the idea that our answer for the variable wasn't necessarily a number. It was going to have the other variable in it or variables in it. So here, because we want to take an equation that has the x and y in it, and we wanted to make it to become y equals, that's all slope-intercept form is you've solved it for y. It becomes y equals. So we have to get y by itself. Well, if we want to get y by itself, we have to get rid of this 2x. Well, we've learned how to get rid of things, right? Add, subtract, multiply, divide. Well, that's a positive 2x. And it's not 2x times y, so I'm not going to divide. So we're going to subtract 2x from both sides. 2x minus 2x is nothing. Bring down the y equals, and then on this side, we have 3 minus 2x. There's no x in this 3. They are not like terms. We cannot combine them. So we're going to write 3 minus 2x. Now that's perfectly fine and acceptable. But if we're going to be consistent in our answers, we're going to put the term with the x in it first. So this negative 2 is going to come in front. We're going to write it as negative 2x plus 3. Standardized tests are going to have this. In most math teachers' classrooms, this is acceptable. Right? Let's try the next one. Got 4x plus 5y equals negative 30. Same idea. If we're solving for y, we don't want x on the same side as y. Remember, we want to have y equals, not xy equals. There's no x on this side. It's just y equals. So I'm going to get rid of this 4x minus 4x. Five y equals, once again, that negative 30 doesn't have an x with it. I cannot combine it with the 4. So I have to leave it as negative 30 minus 4x. Now we have one more step here. Here it was just plain old y, right? Here we have 5y. So we have to divide by 5 because it's 5 times y. We divide by 5. Now, if I put just 1 divided by 5, for some people it makes it a little bit more difficult to simplify. So what I do is I write it, I got to divide all of it by 5. I'm going to write it separately. It makes it a little bit easier to see what we're doing. Divide by 5, divide by 5. I have no issues if you write it the way that I did the first time. But you are going to have to simplify it, right? Any fractions must be simplified. And I can simplify negative 30 over 5. It becomes negative 6. I cannot simplify 4/5. I do not want it as a decimal because that is the slope. Slopes are expressed as fractions. Rise over run. We want a comparison of those two numbers. Okay. So there's another example. Oh, I want to go ahead and finish it. Put it in the usual format. The 4/5 is a minus sign in front. I'm going to put negative 4/5 x, and I'm going to tack on the minus 6. All right. So just remember, once you've got it solved for y, the reason we do that is now I can get the information I want. I now know this number here tells me the slope of the line. This number without the x, that's the y-intercept. Right? So the entire purpose of this is so now we can graph our line easier. Right? Do one more together, and then we'll look at the next slide, which I think has some graphs on it. So here we go. X minus 3y equals 12. Again, we're solving for y. There's no x over here when I solve for y. So we get rid of whatever has an x in it. I know there's a minus sign there, but that's a positive x. Right? That's 1x. That's a positive 1x. To get rid of that, I'm going to minus 1x. So minus 1x minus 1x. Okay. Bring down the negative in front of that y. Negative 3y equals 12 minus 1x. If you like having the 1 there, write it. You don't have to. Okay, so once again, our goal is to get y equals, so I need to get rid of this negative 3. It's negative 3 times, so I divide. Do the opposite. Divide everything on this side by negative 3. Negative 3 over negative 3 cancels. Y equals 12 divided by negative 3. Gives me negative 4. Here I have a negative divided by a negative. And at this point, because I want to write this number in front of x as a slope, as a fraction, as rise over run, it might be helpful for us to put the 1 in there. So now we have negative 1 over negative 3. Well, again, I've got two negatives here, so that makes it positive. So plus 1/3. I can't simplify that. So 1/3 x. Rewrite it with the x term coming first, positive 1/3 x minus 4. Okay, let's take a look at number 10. Pause for just a moment, solve this for y, and then determine the slope and the y-intercept. All right, so let's see how you guys did. So it's a negative 2x, so I add 2x. Bring down the negative 4y, divide by negative 4. Right here, you have a positive 2 divided by a negative 4, so you get a negative, and 2/4 becomes 1/2. And then I change the order so the x term comes first. So real quick review here of something we've done in previous days. Write the equation for the line that has this slope and this y-intercept. So y equals mx plus b. Slope in front of x plus or minus the number, the y-intercept at the end. Right? Write the equation for number 2. Okay, so you get y equals slope x plus y-intercept. I'm not going to write plus 0 because adding 0 does nothing to a number. Okay, and we're going to look at review a couple with a graph. So write the equation of this line, same format, y equals mx plus b. All right, so the first thing I need is m, I need the slope. So we're going to use these 2 points. They have them clearly marked. And all I have to do now is calculate rise and run. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3. So my equation is going to be y equals negative 3 over, remember it's rise over run, it went down 3. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Negative 3/6 x. All right, here's the y-axis. My line hits right here. That's at 1, 2, 3. It's positive 3, so plus 3. Only thing I want to do now is rewrite it by simplifying my fraction. 3/6 becomes a half. All right, try number 5. All right, again, we need 2 pieces of information. We need the slope and the y-intercept. So give us the 2 points. I pick the one that's further left. In this case, I have to count up to get to that point, whereas this one I had to count down. That's why the slope was negative. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up 5. 1, 2 over 2. So we're going to have y equals 5 halves x, slope in front of x, y-intercept, that's where it hits the y-axis, that's at 1 plus 1.